Well, now at 6, we are tracking two major weather stories. Breaking now, Isaias downgraded to a tropical storm, but that could change soon, when it could become a hurricane again and the effects we could feel. We're also under a weather alert right now. Strong storms are moving into our area in less than an hour. We time it out and tell you how much rain you could get in your neighborhood. And making demands in D.C. The 4 changes protesters want the local government to make and how that could impact every school in the city.
Now, ABC 7 News at 6. On your side. We begin with a breaking news alert.
Rough winds, high surf, and dangerous conditions. This is a live look at Miami, where we just learned that Isaias is now downgraded to a tropical storm. But that is not expected to last. The storm is likely to be upgraded again before hitting the Sunshine State, and we are tracking where the storm could go after that as it moves north, possibly toward this area. So as we track that tropical system, we're on weather alert tonight. Strong storms are beginning to move into this area, and that means the potential for flooding and strong winds. We have team coverage tonight on these two major weather stories, from the timing of the incoming storms to what impacts we could see from Isaias. We begin with Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly. Bill.
Carl, there is a lot going on here that we are going to continue to monitor as we go into the evening tonight.
Local impacts coming up in our full report in just a few minutes. Carl?
Brian and Bill, thank you very much. Happening now, protesters are about to wrap up their rally for change in D.C. They are demanding that Mayor Muriel Bowser make policy changes that they say will make the city safer and more equal for all. ABC 7's Tobias Rodriguez is live in Freedom Plaza with what they're calling for. Tobias.
Reporting live in the district, Tobias Rodriguez, ABC 7 News.
All right, Tobias, thank you very much. Now, despite the pandemic and the travel restrictions put in place by Mayor Bowser, plans for Reverend Al Sharpton's Commitment March continue. This week, Bowser stressed that visitors must quarantine if they are coming from high-risk areas. The march organizer, the National Action Network, also put out new requirements in place, including wearing a mask, temperature checks, and bus restrictions from hotspot areas.
How will you be able to enforce that?
We will not allow buses from hotspot areas. They will not receive a placard. That's at the forefront of the planning of this march. Is the protocols by the mayor, DC Department of Health, the CDC, and we're adhering to those.
Well, people with pre-existing conditions are also being encouraged to stay home and watch this march online. ABC 7 News will have extensive coverage with everything you need to know leading up to the march on August 28th. We'll have live coverage of this historic event as it happens, and you can stream it all on WJLA.com/march or download the ABC 7 News app. Well, he is back. Juan Soto has returned to play for the Washington Nationals. ABC 7 Sports' Olivia Garvey has the latest. This is really good news for the Nats.
Yeah, some positive news for the Nationals. We needed this.
Well, much more ahead on ABC 7 News, including a sidewalk ban, the ordinary thing that will no longer be allowed, and how much it could cost those who don't follow the rules. Private school debate. The argument underway in Maryland about which school will and won't be allowed to open. And we continue to track the tropics, what effects we could feel from the storm in the coming days. Stay with us.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 6. On your side.
Arlington County is cracking down on public gatherings in an attempt to slow the spread of the coronavirus. The 5-member board voted unanimously to ban sidewalk gatherings of more than 3 people. They say those not maintaining social distancing are putting others at risk, and anyone who violates the new ordinance could be fined up to $100. And some parents and students from across Northern Virginia got together at district headquarters in Arlington to call for the reopening of schools. And as ABC 7's Justin Hinton explains, this rally is part of a larger effort happening across the region.
With determination in her eyes, in Arlington, Justin Hinton, ABC 7 News.
Well, in their last meeting, the Arlington Public School Board said one of its main criteria for reopening is the safety of teachers and staff, since they drive the success of students. The next board meeting is set for August 20th. 7 on Your Side recently spoke with the superintendent of the Diocese of Arlington, and we learned that most of Northern Virginia's Catholic schools will go back to in-person learning 5 days a week. The diocese operates 37 parish schools and 4 high schools in 12 different jurisdictions. The superintendent told us social distancing requirements will be followed, but students and staff will not be required to wear masks at all times. New at 6, a debate now over private schools in Montgomery County and how they should reopen. The Montgomery health officer directed non-public schools to delay the start of in-person learning through at least October 1st. But just a short while ago, Governor Larry Hogan argued against that, writing that as long as those schools develop a safe plan that follows the CDC and state guidelines, they should be able to make the right decision for their students and parents. Tracking Isaias now, NASA is keeping a close eye on the storm because it could stop an important mission from taking place. The space agency and SpaceX are set to bring 2 NASA astronauts home in a splashdown set for tomorrow. But the high winds and rough waves could make that landing site too dangerous. The astronauts were part of the first crewed mission to take off from U.S. soil in nearly a decade. And we are taking a live look right now at some rough waves. This is a live picture out of Miami as Florida starts to get the outer bands of what's currently a tropical storm. Now, the high winds will churn up the surf and also lead to erosion. But this storm is like no other for the state because as it moves closer, Florida deals with soaring coronavirus numbers. And those trying to prepare say it's like fighting 2 battles at once while trying to get the necessary supplies.
So you see a lot of people and a lot of aisles that don't seem to have much toilet paper and paper towels and sort of pre-pandemic like situation in there.
Really the last thing they need. Local leaders are urging people to maintain safety measures and warn against holding hurricane parties. Any evacuation shelters that open are also preparing to keep people as distant and separate as they possibly can. Really a lot happening down there. Florida getting hit with this tropical storm, what's currently a tropical storm, but we are also watching it locally to see the impacts here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be tracking this into next week.
And we want to get you back out to Brian for one last look, because Brian, you are tracking the potential for some strong to severe storms tonight.
Yeah, it's been fairly calm up to this point. Been seeing a few firing off to the west in the mountains, a few down to the south, but our models indicate that later on this evening after 8, 9 o'clock through midnight or so, some strong to severe storms with some damaging winds, heavy downpours, frequent lightning. So myself and Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly will be keeping a close eye on it. By tomorrow, maybe a little bit of patchy fog, a